Hi, I'm Carolina. This video is for my friend Carol, who I was just talking to about how to use pine pellet for horse bedding as litter. I'm going to run through showing you how I use it, and I'm also going to talk to you about the benefits of it. So let me first show you what I have. My bucket with a lid that I put the stuff into, my little broom and handle for sweeping up anything that gets on the floor, and if you want, you can wear glove up, so that if anything gets stuck on your scooper, you can get it out. So my scooper lives in my bucket. I have saved this bucket. I've reused this bucket for a long time. I fill it up till it gets full, and then I either bury it in the woods, or I throw it on my burn pile, or I compost it and use it on my non-food garden, my flowers and stuff. So, okay, here's Scuba Steve checking things out. So, here is the litter box. It's already got the pine pellets in it. Ooh, hang on. And the way I start is I scoop everything to one side of the litter box. Now, I prefer this kind of litter box to like the self-cleaning litter boxes. And the reason for that is that you can actually see your cat's poop, and that tells you a lot about your cat's health. You can tell a lot by the color of it, by whether or not it's got blood in it, by how often it happens. You can tell if they're eating plants in your house by if there's leaves in it. You can tell if there is, if they're a cat that's eating strings or chewing on fabric by whether there's fiber in it. So it's helpful to know what's happening with your cat. So I scoop it up, I put it over my bucket, and I shake it side to side. The sawdust falls out. So as they pee in the litter, it turns from pine pellets to pine sawdust. So by getting rid of that sawdust, I'm getting rid of all of the urine. To get rid of the solid waste, I just scoop it up with the corner of the litter thing and throw it in my bucket. I pull it all to one side, and I work from one side to the other. So while I finish this one, I want to tell you a little bit about why I use pine pellets. First of all, they're a lot less expensive than clay litter. Like, I do rescue, and I was close to having to give it up because I couldn't afford to keep buying litter before someone told me about pine pellets. But more than that, so this bag of pine pellets right here beside me, $5.99 for 40 pounds. A bag of litter that big would be 40 bucks. If they even made it that big. The other thing, though, is that pine pellets are not bad for the environment, and clay is. So clay is, bentonite clay is the type of clay that you use for litter boxes, and it's gotten from strip mining. So what they do is they bring in these big vehicles. They take off the whole first few feet of topsoil and dirt, and then they bring in these monster machines and they dig down until they're in a clay bed, and they take out all that clay, and then they put it in a cruncher and they crunch it all up, and they turn it into litter. But the worst part is that they're destroying ecosystems when they do that, and they're destroying the water all around it. The water runoff is poisonous, and they are also hurting any animals that live in that area. On top of that, the bentonite clay, which your cats then scratch in and pee in, contains a silica that is a known cancer-causing agent. So they're breathing it, you're breathing it. It's not good for anyone. So pine pellets are just, or you can get wood pellets like for a wood stove. I'm not good at this. And they are just the byproduct of another industry, the lumber industry. They are literally the sawdust that's left over after they're making lumber. So there are no trees cut down for pine pellets. They are completely compostable afterwards. If you send them to the dump, they're completely biodegradable. That what is it called? Sodium bentonite, the clay that they use for the clay pellets. I mean, clay litter. That stuff is there forever, even in the landfill, because it's still in the same form it was already in, which is this thick, thick clay that can't break down anymore. It's not meant to break down anymore. So we're transferring that problem of that strip mining from one place to another place. Can you see Scuba Steve trying to play with mine? So, wood pellets or pine pellets, either one, are way better for the environment. They're way less expensive. This 40-pound bag is $5.99 at Tractor Supply. I'd say the only drawback to them is that they are heavy to carry, and you have to go to either a store that sells horse supplies, or sometimes the Home Depot and Lowe's will also sell them. So I would check out with them and see if you can find them there. So, another thing is that pine pellets are naturally good smelling. Whenever they add those perfumes to your cat litters, cats don't like them. Cats have a really good sense of smell, and they do not like perfumes in their stuff. So now I've gotten to the end. I've got a little bit of sawdust left. If I want to, I can just take my little brush here. Actually, I got one more scoop. And then I can brush that up, and put it away. So it smells a lot better, and it smells better naturally. It's not trying to cover up some smell with some other smell. Let's see, what else was it that I wanted to... the health of your cat. So pine pellets is way better for your cat if they get it on their feet and they have to lick it off. Cats clean themselves with their tongue. So that bentonite clay, if they ingest that stuff, it goes into their gut. It causes obstructions. It can cause renal failure. It's just really bad for them, even in very small quantities. And little kittens, you know, we have a lot of little kittens here at our rescue. We never use a clay litter with them, because if they eat it, they'll die. Clay litters, bentonite is made so that when liquid touches it, it expands. So if that happens in your cat's throat or gut, it's a real problem. So that doesn't happen with sawdust. Heck, sawdust is used in human food all the time. If you've ever bought shredded cheese, it's got sawdust in it. That's why it doesn't glob back together when it melts. So it's food grade sawdust, but it's sawdust nonetheless. So pine pellets or wood pellets are better for their health. They're better for your pocketbook. They're way better for the environment. They're easy to use. I'm already done. And it took me even longer than it normally would have, because I was telling you about it. So now I've got it in my bucket. I put my scoop in my bucket. I put my lid on my bucket. And I put my little brush on top. I use the brush also to clean around the litter box. Oh, that's another thing. So when sawdust comes out of the litter box, which it does sometimes, it doesn't hurt your feet if you step on it. But if you step on litter, it does hurt your feet. And it gets everywhere. And it grinds into the floor. And if you have floor, you can't get it out. If it's wet and it's on the carpet, it sticks to the carpet. So gross. So lots of reasons for using pine pellets or wood pellets instead. In fact, a little history. So people have always had indoor cats. It wasn't new to, recently, but they started selling clay litter in the 1940s. But before that, people used either sand or ashes from their fireplace. But they got tired of having cat track ashes all over their house. And so this guy who had come up with a way of shredding this clay to clean up mistakes made by auto workers, thought it would work for cats too. And he basically started marketing that way, put it in his trunk, drove around the country in the 1940s, selling it. Took a while for it to take off, but then it did take off. And we kind of lost, don't you swat that. Look at him. He's like, here I am, I'm going to come get you. It took a while for it to take off, but it did take off. And then we just kind of lost our roots of how we had done it before, which was actually a better way. So that's my take on pine pellets, how to use them, and why we should use them, and how to save yourself some money. So hope you enjoy it. This is Scuba Steve. He's purring. Can you hear him? You guys have a good day. Thanks for listening. I forgot to add, if you've got a cat who has arthritis or has been declawed or has some kind of body pain, you can use pine pellets also by adding some water to them and letting them turn to sawdust so that it's soft on their feet, especially cats that have been declawed. Cats that have been declawed get arthritis later in later life because you're basically taking off the part of their foot that they walk on. They're making them walk on their wrists. So don't declaw your cats. But you can still use pine pellets or wood pellets for a wood stove. Just add a cup of water to them, let them get soft, and then let them use it. You can scoop the solids out for a couple days, and then when you feel like the sawdust has drawn up as much urine as it's going to, just compost it, burn it in your fire pit, or use it in your flower garden. All right.